What up, what up? This is Ray Grand, your host, and you're listening to The Ray Grand Show, where we talk about redefining a disability and overcoming. I've been paralyzed from 22 years from bacterial spinal meningitis. I know a few things. That's right. Thank you for listening, and let's get to it. Good day, people. Welcome to the Ray Grand Show. I have my good friend with me, Sarah MacIsaac. I'm telling you, the story is amazing. Like her friend would say, no. This girl does everything. She's more active than most people. We're going to have a great conversation like we just had offline. And I'm really interested for you guys to hear her story and her process and just listen in. And as we sip this cup of tea and coffee, or I would say water, we're drinking water. Hey, how's it going, Sarah?
It's going great. Thank you for having me.
No, my pleasure. So Sarah, can you tell me, because I don't know too much about your story. I know a little bit. I know you quite some time from PYD, Partners Youth Disability, and different events that I would see you, and I always remember you being super active and also going to school, graduating college, and if I'm correct, you got your master's degree as well, which was super impressive.
Bachelor's,
Just bachelor's. Okay.
Yeah.
Bachelor's. Forgive me.
You promoted me.
Yeah.
That's all good. But
Yeah,
no, college, that was one of my biggest accomplishments.
Yeah.
That meant a lot to me, to
I'm
graduate from college.
super impressed because a lot of the times, let alone graduating college, in a wheelchair, like sometimes you don't even, there's people, it's not done.
Yeah.
And you did it. I was like, wow, like that's phenomenal. What did you study?
I have a bachelor's of science in psychology with a minor in education.
Even better. So psychology is phenomenal. Wow. So yeah,
You just thought to yourself, that explains a lot, right?
Yeah. I'm connecting the dots now. So can you walk us through that process of how you became in a wheelchair or?
Yes, of course. I was born with my disability. It's a form of muscular dystrophy. It's kind of a long, complicated name. It's congenital fiber disproportion type. Basically, it kind of means that they have no idea what I have. It's just congenital, so they're still sort of learning about my specific type. It's sort of, I guess, a little bit rare. So actually, they told me recently that I kind of don't fit the typical mold, which isn't really that unusual for me since I seem to always have a habit of saying that to me throughout my life, that I don't quite follow the norm of what is projected or expected for this disability. But I mean, as we talked about offline, there are a lot of aspects to why that can be. You know, my family life, my faith life, how active I am, my overall health and well-being. I mean, I think there's a lot of factors that determine whether your disability plays out in sort of a positive or negative way.
Yes. So how does the condition affect you? Like, what does it look like? So for me, when I contracted spinal meningitis, it paralyzed me from the waist down. So I'm considered a T12. So how does the condition that you was born with affect you?
My biggest thing that I deal with from like a medical standpoint, well, I utilize a motorized wheelchair, so I can't walk or anything. I can bear some weight so I can like transfer in and out, but only with assistance. So with my PCA, my personal care attendant, the wonderful woman that helped me live my full productive life. So always good to have some awesome people in your corner helping you out. But yeah, as a child, I think my mom, she always says that if I have two siblings, so I was the first. So my mom always said that if I had been born, second or third, she might have even been able to tell that much earlier. But there were some delays right away from like 3 months even. And she journaled it all in my baby book. I've read some of it, but like by a year I had, my diagnosis of muscular dystrophy. They didn't really know exactly like what it was like I said at that time. It wasn't until later that I got the specific, title. But from a day-to-day perspective as a child, I could walk for some time.
So you
Till
could
about
walk as a child?
9, yeah, like till about 9 years old roughly.
9 years old.
And
Okay. That makes
and
sense.
then I had back surgery. And normally it wasn't because of the back surgery, it was kind of a combination of factors, but normally for someone like me, you would wait till you were a little bit older for that particular surgery because I had a curvature of the spine,
Yep.
but they had to do it a little bit younger than normal. But
So was it
I know I think about that sometimes. Like having my mom have a 9-year-old or some, little kid going in for all these surgeries. It's like I can't imagine what my parents must have been dealing with. But I think of my nieces and nephews, and I'm like, wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, so at 9 years old, you had to had was it the spinal fusion for the scoliosis
Yeah,
with
exactly.
rods in your back, etc.?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yep, parents and moms and
yeah, I had those as well. Wow. And so after the surgery, is that when you had to use an electric wheelchair?
it was kind of a combination of things. I was using a manual, and I could still walk, but just it was more of an energy thing at the time. Like it was my breathing, it was my weakness. So for me, honestly, getting my motorized wheelchair was like one of the best things that ever happened to me because it was an adjustment mentally, obviously, something to wrap your mind around.
Yeah.
But it was very freeing because I would go to camp, I would go to school, I would try to participate in these activities, and couldn't really keep up. So the motorized wheelchair really let me fully participate, which, my parents were always a big advocate of, they included me in every activity. My sister and brother really wanted me to be able to be a part of everything, and it was just never like a question of like, oh, she'll just be over here waiting while we do whatever.
Yeah.
They wanted me to be as much as a part of everything. So I really liked getting my motorized wheelchair
No,
because it was
it's like
I could get around.
it's like being a rock star, being able to travel really fast. Pew! And
Yeah,
say,
exactly.
yeah. So how
Yeah, definitely.
what motivated you um to keep going, to just say, okay, I'm gonna stay active.
Hmm.
I'm going to uh, get my degree. Or do
Right.
you have like any down time where you wasn't
Oh, yeah.
motivated? So for me, I there's times where I wasn't motivated and I was depressed and I was
Mhm.
like we
No,
spoke
I've
earlier.
definitely been yeah.
Say
I've
again?
definitely definitely had my times of dealing with that. Yeah, for sure. I would think my biggest 2 times for that were in high school. High school was hard anyway,
Yeah.
but I went through a lot of health stuff in high school. So that was a big transition period for me because I was dealing with new things like respiratory, stomach issues, just things that I hadn't dealt with before.
Yeah.
So it was just, it's a very emotional, anxiety-ridden time anyway, I feel like high school, just for the average teenager, and then you throw extra health issues and things on top of it. So that was a challenging time. And then um, after like in the middle of college, so it took a while to go to college. I kind of took it slow. At first, I think I was a little afraid to push myself too hard, maybe because of some of the health issues. I had a lot of stuff mentally that I was trying to work through, kind of the stuff we talked about offline,
Yeah.
the fear and not approaching things from a place of fear, but saying that if I can't do X, Y, Z, I'll deal with it, but trying to make things happen that I'm interested in and that I want to participate in. So I would say for the most part, I have been active in my life and done a lot, but at the same time, there have been periods where it was kind of, yeah, the anxiety and the fear and maybe a little bit of depression kind of took over. But as I said offline, my faith definitely was a big part. My grandparents were really strong faith
Yeah.
believers, and especially at the end, being elderly and stuff, they had a lot of health issues themselves. And
Yeah.
just seeing how they dealt with it with prayer and God and just family. And then my mom, like growing up, even back to my childhood years, like she really never just let me like lay around and feel sorry for myself. If I was sick, like, nope, you're taking a shower, you're putting on a new outfit, you're gonna get up. Like, even if I just had surgery, I was doing my homework. Like they tried to make it as normal, quote unquote, whatever that is, as possible because so I think that was a big motivator too because they just didn't expect anything else. They expected me to do everything that everybody else
Everyone else was doing.
would do. So I was kind of never really given the option to just, you know,
Yeah, yeah. So
be,
was there ever a time, so you said about like overcoming fear. So was there ever a
yeah.
time where you had fear and you were like, you know what, I'm gonna do this anyway? Or was there ever a time you came into a particular thing, you're like, you know what, I wasn't expecting this, but I'm gonna figure out how to do it. Can you think of anything that
Yeah, I would say right around, like I said, I started to tell you that when I went to college, I kind of took like one class here, one class there. But in my early 20s, right around my 21st birthday, I was really sick. And I was consistently getting sick like at the same time. So like every January, I would get pneumonia or whatever. So you start to kind of think like, oh well, here's January, here we go again.
yeah, yeah,
So I really had to. I did go to counseling at one point. I have worked with professionals at different points in my life,
yeah,
and my sister was a big help. I talked to her a lot, but I had taken some time off from school, but I was healthy at this point. And basically, I had a conversation with my sister and my mother at different points. I don't remember exactly. I don't think it was all in one day, but over time we had talked. And they were just kind of like, you're healthy now, so like, when are you going back to school? Like, and it was just sort of like that wake up call of like, don't live your life like you are sick. Live your life like you're healthy.
Yes.
And I think over time I've had to renew my mind around that. And I sort of ongoing now purposely put those positive thoughts into my head, whether it's my Bible study, whether it's even having just positive mantras that are like
Yeah.
on my wall or, positive messages. Like, I mean, I'm sitting here at my desk, even my mouse pad has a positive thing
Yeah.
on it. Because, like, I believe that I believe in you and you can do anything your little heart desires. Go be fabulous. But I
Wow.
like
I love
having
it.
stuff like that around my house because I you believe what you tell yourself
Yeah.
and you believe what you take in. And if you don't take in good things, I mean, we were talking offline about nutrition and the importance of going outside and getting fresh air and sunlight and exercise. But what you put in for your thoughts is just as important. And what you say about yourself to yourself. And I used to say some not so good things like, oh, I'm just sick and I'm not good enough and like all those things that we tell ourselves. And I had to realize that I am healthy and whole and all these other things.
Yes.
But I get sick or I have an issue. But I'm not the issue. I'm not whatever disease or
Yeah.
disability. I'm more than that. You know
Yeah.
what I
That's
mean?
deep. That's deep. That's deep. You said a lot right there.
Sorry.
Oh
Too
no,
much.
no. I mean a lot in a good way, in a sense of you really broke it down. You talked about renewing your mind and then how you see yourself, even if uh, you do get sick or something happens, you're not necessarily that. However, you went through that process. So I went through that process as well, and I went to therapy too as well. What was the major takeaway in therapy when you went to therapy, if you don't mind me asking?
I mean, I've been a few different times throughout my life, so I think the takeaway was a little different each time. I've done art therapy, I've done some music therapy. I think the biggest thing is, I think more broadly that I've learned overall is that it doesn't really end. Like, you're not just like gonna go and just like magically nothing's ever gonna bother you again or you're never gonna have to work on anything. I'm a real believer in like lifelong learning and being proactive, like I said, about what I put in myself. And I believe that like it takes, I mean, staying healthy is like a full-time job, whether it's mentally healthy, spiritual healthy, or physically healthy. And I believe it's all connected. That if you're spiritually not healthy or you're mentally not healthy, it's gonna impact my physical health. Like I've literally seen that for both the positive and the negative. So I think that was like the biggest takeaway. I mean, I've learned a lot of tools through the years, whether it's visualization. When I was really stressed out about my breathing machine, they taught me to like think of it as the waves and soothing stuff so that, I'm visualizing myself lying on the beach,
Yeah,
letting the waves go by. And then you're not so stressed about putting this new breathing machine on that you've never worn. I mean, that was in my early teens, but I've learned other tools and techniques throughout the year that have also helped. But like I said, I think the biggest takeaway is just to know that you need to keep it up. Like you can't just, you
Yeah,
know,
that's amazing.
rest on your laurels, so to speak.
Yeah, that's amazing because one of the things, the takeaways for me when I went to therapy and the therapist asked me is like one of the questions that it was so profound to me. She's like, "So how does that make you feel?" You know, sort of like the movies when people are just on the couch, laying, looking at the wall. I'm like, what do you mean? I couldn't answer the question. I've been through so much pain and surgeries. I was so numb.
Mm-hmm.
At that time, about 15 years ago, I don't know, quite some time ago. And I learned how to express my feelings. And then once I expressed my feelings, I realized like, wow, I was angry. I realized that I was bitter. I realized I was resentful. And then I started to transition into that positive thinking. And then the
Mm-hmm.
positive thinking transitioned into faith.
Mm-hmm.
And then faith turned into action, and action turned into fruit, and
Yeah.
then the result. And then it was just keep going
Yeah.
momentum. But it was definitely a process of I think we both can relate on where we had keyword had past tense. We had that negative thinking or stinking thinking
Mm-hmm.
and view of ourselves because of our particular situation, past tense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so it was definitely a process to get to where I'm at today. And I agree with you, visualization, having a vision, being able to see it in your mind, uh, translate into reality eventually.
Mm-hmm.
When you believe, of course.
Yeah, and I think also for me, learning sort of what I need at any given time, how much to do or not to do. Like I think I again did that more from a place of fear, but now it's more like, I just look at my week or my month and I try not to like overly schedule myself. I don't really want to be one of those people that's like on the run all the time
Yeah,
and never breathe or have any time for my time with God or the other things I enjoy, like reading or art or whatever. I mean, if you're just so booked all the time, like my family doesn't live local. One of my sister and her family, so my nieces and nephews, like I want to be available sometimes if they want to call auntie and talk
yeah,
on the phone. You know what I mean? So I think before I did it more as like a regimented, like this is my law, like this is how I do my life, and no one can mess with my schedule. But now it's more like I'm more in tune with my needs and myself, and I know it helps me be my best self and live my best life. And I'm always adjusting that.
yeah,
I mean, I'm not saying I got it all. I'm not,
yeah,
we're
yeah.
not all
No, no,
perfect.
no, I get it. Yeah,
I don't have it all like
figure it out.
figured out, But I think being okay with, I have like 3 things this week that are at night and at early in the evening, and I don't normally stay up that late. So you know what? Saturday is like my rest day
Yeah,
because I know those 3 things are gonna take a lot out of me. And just being aware of that so that I can do some of these newer activities that are fun for me, but not go so crazy that I do end up like running myself ragged. So just finding that, you know, balance and harmony but doing it from a place of um security and um contentment and more of those positive places rather than, no, I'm just not going to do that and just like close myself off from some type of.
Yeah, you hit an interesting point. I think what's the word I'm looking for? Uh, uh, when people expect you to do what they think you should do, or
Oh, yes.
yeah, or having like a where they see you. So, for example, you said, or I'm paraphrasing something to the along the lines of, yeah, you want time with your family, and you're not going to just fill up your schedule just to fill up your schedule. And
Mhm.
I completely agree with that. It's like, what matters more,
Yeah,
health, or like you said, traveling all the time, like for what? For
yeah.
like, what's the end goal?
Mhm.
What is the end goal? And I can definitely connect with that and ask myself as well. It's like, what's the end goal, and what do I want, and what can I give? And I only can give what I have, because I think sometimes with
Yeah,
most people,
definitely.
they may overgive, or they'll give out of a reserve, and then end up angry, and then end up mad, and end up in so many
Oh,
different
yeah, totally. Yeah,
mindsets that wasn't meant for them to be, because they're overextending themselves.
exactly. That's an excellent point.
Yeah,
Yeah, you definitely summed that up very well.
yeah,
Yeah, I
thank
agree.
you. Yeah, because I've been there before, where I felt like, oh, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do that, and I was like, you know what? If I don't know why I want to do it, and I don't see the vision for it, I'm not going to do it, even
Right,
though I may be great at it. But you know what? Maybe it's not for me to do it. You know,
right,
and understanding that it's okay. I don't have to do it all. However, if I see the vision for it, and I see the benefit for myself and for others, absolutely, I'll do it in the way I see fit.
right.
That
Well, I
makes
think sometimes too, when it comes to like the whole judging other people or whatever, I feel like sometimes if people don't see it, then that means you're not doing anything. Some
Yeah,
people think, oh, well, you work from home, you're at home, like, what are you doing all day? And it's like, but if I have aspirations, as we talked about offline, say to be a writer, which I do,
yeah,
if I never go home and write, how am I ever going to be a writer? So I have to make time for writing if I
exactly.
want to be a writer. So that's just an example,
That's
but
a
I
example.
but I back to like my youth, like when I told you about being 21 and being sick, I did the opposite back then. It was like I said no to everything.
Yeah,
And it's like if you say no to things, eventually people are gonna stop asking
yeah,
because they're like, and then you shut down and they don't understand. It's like you wonder why you're not making friends, or you're not having a social life, or you're not meeting the person of your dreams or whatever. And it's because, yeah, the inner self, like you're not healthy and you're not content with the inner self. So it's like once you do that, you're putting a better version of you out there anyway. And then more people wanna work with you, like you reaching out to me for this podcast, like
yeah.
God is good.
Yep, yep, yep.
But it's like as soon as it's like kind of like almost like I don't want to say eerie because that's not a very positive
Yeah, I know
word.
what you mean. It's almost like, wow, like God really works like.
Okay, now I just got it together in my mind and in my heart, and I know what I want. And then the next thing I know, Ray Grandoit is messaging me saying, "You want to be on this podcast?" Like it
Yeah,
really is. It works like that though.
yeah, and
And I've
that's
seen it
the
over and
power.
over. I've seen it over and over. So
Yeah, because like I thought of you for some reason. Boom, it just popped up in my mind because the podcast is about the mindset. The
Mhm.
podcast is about redefining disability and overcoming disability, understanding that, hey, we had some really bad things that happened to us. However, those things did not define us, and we
Yeah.
overcame those things, and we still had feelings about those things, and we, uh, better, for better, at least the words are saying, we was in the mud per se, but however, we got through the mud and washed the mud off, and then
Yeah.
we let our light shine, whatever how that looks like. And so I think subconsciously that all of us can think of people when we think of someone, um, we may think of that person that has done that, because it's not like it just I literally thought of you. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
boom, it popped. You was one of the people that I had on my list, and that happened organically. And I know quite a few people. You know what I mean in the
Yeah,
disability
that's what
world.
I think that's what I said to you when you first messaged me. I'm like, you know how many people, and
Yeah,
you're messaging me. But it was pretty cool. But that's just this was just a very powerful example of exactly what's been happening lately in my life, whether it's my Chiefly Simple business, whether it's all the opportunities that I've had in my community. I mean, in Lynn, I've just recently was in the faces of Lynn magazine, and I'm going to
wow,
be in the fashion show for my local Chamber of Commerce. So
congrats, that's good.
these cool things are coming my way, and but I do believe that until I got really comfortable with who I was as a person and more contented and joyful overall, then those things really started to happen for me because people want to be around that.
Yeah,
Nobody wants to really be like a lot of people have called me like sunshine throughout my years, like very sunny, and I'm known for being sociable, and I am, but and I hate to say it like this, but you have to like work at it kind of. Like
yeah.
I don't just wake up in the morning loving everybody.
Oh no, that's very true. Like, I mean, I wake up every day with some pain, and I wake up with worship and spending time with God, and that's what helps me. I don't think
You
anybody.
gotta get your mind right.
Yeah, it gets. Yeah, I don't think any.
Get
Well,
your day up right.
I can't say that. My wife wakes up bubbly, so I. Yeah, so
But that's rare is my point.
yeah. Some people don't though. Some
That's
people,
very rare is my point.
yeah, it's very rare. You're right. Because I don't know a lot of people just wake up with just a smile on their face and just ready to go. Like, yeah. I mean, I do sometimes. There's some days I wake up
Well, yeah, me too.
like ready to go. Um,
And I think it happens more now, but it's because it's like an everyday, like what I fill myself with, what I take
yes,
in, how I start my day, whether it's gratitude. I mean, I've done gratitude journals, whether it's my morning prayer, my evening prayer, saying thank you, Lord, for another day. But if it's not going to be natural if I don't do those things.
correct.
If that makes sense.
That makes perfect sense. I've been there, and yet definitely my practice of, like you said, gratitude, discipline, reading my Bible, a discipline of saying, you know what, I'm gonna give God everything I have.
Hmm.
Worship every single time. And once you keep doing that intentionally, at least for me, I found that it's very easy to have joy. It's very easy to laugh. It's very easy to let things go and not get offended uh,
Yeah, totally.
to the little
I'm
things.
still
Not
working on
just
that one.
say what?
I'm still working on that one.
Yeah, yeah. No, not this. So I didn't finish. Not to say that you don't advocate for yourself.
Mm.
However, not to get offended. So if somebody
Yeah.
does something, I may not agree, and I say, look, I got to speak up for myself. I'll speak up for myself, but I'll speak up for myself in a very educated, calm, and peaceful way. It's like, wow,
Yeah.
this guy is calm, and the ramp is not working, or the lift is not working, or whatever. At the point where I was really traveling at one point, literally, you would get wheelchair, ramp is not working, wheelchair van is not accessible. Like, what? I have a flight to catch. I need to figure this thing out. And I'm
Right.
super calm. And Mr. Grandoit, we're sorry about this. Oh, here's a plane ticket, free plane ticket, boom, boom, boom. And it will be easy for me to say, hey, you know what? I could put this company on blast, da 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 da. But you know what? As an entrepreneur, I understand things don't go as planned. And whenever humans are doing things, you're going to get mistakes.
Yeah.
It just happens. However, as long as they're doing their best to minimize those mistakes, I'm cool with that. And we
That's
can
awesome.
work it out. We can work it
I'm
out.
still trying to get there. I'm
Yeah,
not quite there yet. I'm
that's
pretty
fine.
good.
That's
I'm
fine.
pretty
It's
good
a
though.
process. It is a process because it definitely took me a while to get there as well. Because eventually, you won't allow someone's feelings to transfer to your feeling, and that's what strength. That's where that muscle, like you said,
Yeah.
it is. It's work. Like, it's not as just boom, you just get it. It took me some time. I remember where someone's feeling a certain way, they'll be mad, and then they mess up, and then they affect my situation, and I get mad, and two people are mad, and it doesn't help anybody.
No.
Yeah,
No.
yeah, it's definitely a practice, and it definitely takes time uh, to get there. And I think the time is how hungry you are to want it. I think
Yeah.
the desire a person wants to get there,
Mhm.
and that peace of mind, and their
Mhm.
relationship with God, and staying active and doing things in life, and living in purpose. It all starts with a decision,
Right.
to want to do it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I had one other thought that when you were speaking, I thought you'd appreciate this. So as I said, I like to public speak, and I lecture at my church, and some people have a really big fear of public speaking.
Yeah.
And I remember someone asked me one time, do you fear when you go up there to do it? And I'm like, no, not really. Like, I practice and I feel good. But I also said, but I'm never doing these things alone.
Yeah.
Like, God is always with me, whatever the task is. So that takes some of the pressure off because it's not really you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're not really, so you don't have to, whether it's a tastefully simple party that I'm throwing, or I'm doing inventory, or I'm doing, back office stuff, math, which isn't my
Yeah.
forte, whatever it is. My God is always supplying whatever my deficit might be.
Yeah.
He's replacing it with something else or helping me through it. So I think that's a big thing.
No, absolutely. Like you said, with public speaking, I remember when I first started to speak, I definitely was not thinking that's something for me, because I say a lot. I think the I think so fast, so sometimes my mouth needs to catch up to my brain
I have that problem.
mind, and I'm like, wow. And so this it's just sometimes it can be a little frustrating. However, like you said, understanding is like God is with me, He's inside of me, He's all over, and I'm here to deliver the message that He wants to deliver, and
Hmm.
do my best to deliver it the best way possible with love. And I think the reason why most people fear public speaking is because when people speak, you're able to see them. And I think people are scared to see if people see them. They may see their brokenness, they may see their fear, they may see whatever it may be. And in reality is uh people already see it whether you speak or you don't. Because if the person's dealing with it, people see it. So it's like,
Mm.
I think, the person should work on it and not be ashamed of it, because everybody's been there one way or another. And
Yeah.
it's okay. Because like you said, God loves you. God is with you. God cares for you. And it's not.
Yeah. And as we talked about offline, like, we all have um, our own perspective, our own story, our own view. No one's gonna tell what you're gonna share, the way you're gonna share it, and put your version of you out into the world. Like, we all have abilities. We all have. Like, I always think of even my immediate family, the five of us, just how different we are. Like, my brother is like so good at computers and technology and stuff, and I'm always calling him up like, help me out,
Yeah.
help me with my phone, help me with my computer. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I do this. I use computers for a living. I use my phone for a living, but I still need assistance sometimes with the technology side. How to get that app to load or whatever. I don't even know what I'm saying, but but you know what I mean. Like,
No, that makes sense.
so we all have strengths and we all have weaknesses, and I feel like we're all here to share, our unique gift.
Yeah, our uniqueness. Yeah, because exactly. Yeah, that comparison thing. Because I remember when I first was starting to speak, I started to compare myself. Like, man, Joel Osteen, TD Jakes, these guys are great speakers. How am I gonna speak like them? And then I realized, like, they haven't been through what I've been through. They're not uh, me, and my story is my story. And I just stopped comparing, because it's actually almost kind of disrespectful to God when God made all of us so unique.
Amen.
Yeah, it's like, why would you compare yourself to anybody? And I just was like, okay, I'm done. I'm gonna be me. I'm fiery. I'm passionate. I'm also cool. I'm very, reserved. I'm very a dynamic person. I'm not just one way. Um,
Totally.
yeah, and so yeah, I strongly believe that, like, we all have a voice that needs to be heard. And
Mhm.
once we step into it, like you said, and think positively and visualize and see it, and speak that love and that positive talk, and renewing the mind, of course, with the word of God every day, makes a major, major, major difference.
Mhm. And I think too, it speaks volumes to other people because you can tell them all day to do this or do that or drink more water or
Yeah.
act a certain way or you can preach all day long.
Yeah.
And I feel like your life is how you act and how you conduct yourself and how you carry yourself in the world speaks way more than
1,000%.
actually
1,000%.
telling
Yeah.
them.
People don't listen to what you say, they watch what you do. And what you
Yeah,
do must be congruent to what you say. Because if they're not congruent, you're just blowing smoke. Nobody wants to be a
yeah,
part
sure.
of that, because it's just like, yeah, whatever.
Totally.
Yeah, like, whatever. Like, come on. Like, yeah,
Mhm.
are you living it? And yeah, you're right. Your life is an example of what you preach. Because we're all preaching, right? No matter what, we're all preaching to some degree. Some people are preaching about the iPhone that they brought. Some people are preaching about, hey, check how many likes I got on Facebook. Hey, preaching, hey, I got this new car. Hey, preaching about, I just wrote this book. Preaching about, hey, I got this new podcast. Hey, I just traveled to San Francisco. Like, we're
Yeah,
all are saying something. We all have something to say and sharing something.
right.
So why not preach something good and something positive and something that can help yourself and help others? Yeah, I love
Mhm.
it. It's good. This has been fun. This has been really fun.
Yes, I agree.
I definitely
Thanks for
appreciate
having me.
coming on the show and talking about the mindset and thinking, the thinking process. And we touched on uh, the
We talked about a lot.
we talked about a lot. We talked about a lot, and that's why. So So where are you at now as far as graduating college, day to day? I know you spoke upon like your mindset and everything. Like, what is your your dream? Like, what's next for Sarah?
Honestly, I've told you this offline. You're doing a lot of what I want to be doing. I'm still kind of navigating the whole world, figuring it out, but I definitely feel like I have a lot to say.
Yeah.
I do like to talk, but more so just all the things that we've been discussing, health and wellness, people living their best lives, being healthy, whether it's mentally or physically, spiritually, all of it. So I have started writing and doing some public speaking opportunities like this. I do have my own business, my J4 Simple business, where I do get to harness some of those skills, in my business because there is some public speaking involved. I've done my own, Facebook Lives and
Good.
things like that about
I don't think I've
food.
seen those. I have to check it out.
Yeah, check them out, please do. But yeah, so that's another passion of mine is my food business. So Tastelessly Simple, we sell easily prepared food. So definitely like to cook and help people to feel comfortable around food and being comfortable in the kitchen. I've had a lot of issues with food in my life, and I know a lot of people do. So just helping people feel a little more secure in their food choices and things like that is a passion of mine. And then just living my life, like I said, I'm very active in my community. I have a lot of family. I have a huge family. Um, Lots of friends, and then very active in my church. And yeah, so
No, that's
that's
amazing,
me.
Sarah. I greatly appreciate your time, your story, and
I
all.
appreciate you letting me share. Thank
No,
you.
absolutely, absolutely. Like I've known you for quite a bit of time, and I can definitely tell you that I know people don't like to say it, but you're definitely an inspiration to me because, especially a woman that is strong, that actually accomplishing and living your life. Because I think
Thank you.
sometimes, um, if I can be transparent, sometimes we can look at things and be like, oh, that's a man, he's strong, he can figure it out. You know what I mean? But then when you see a
Exactly.
woman, strong, you're strong just as well, and you're doing um, everything that you set yourself out to do, and at your pace, and it's not like
Yeah.
a race; it's at your pace. And I'm here to help you any way I can.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, my pleasure. Because I
Wait
know,
till the people from PYB see
huh?
us chatting. I was saying the people from PYB. I said,
Yeah.
wait till they see us chatting. They'll be
Say,
like, what? Partners for youth with disabilities.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
was saying, who would have thought, like, all these years later? I
Yeah.
said, wait till they see us.
Oh
They'll
yeah,
be
yeah,
like,
yeah.
what?
They're gonna probably replay this podcast, let everybody listen to it, and they should. Yeah, that's exactly what they're gonna do. They're gonna send an email blast and send it to the world, send it to everyone. Why not? Why not? That's a great idea. It just triggered something. Uh, yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, that's amazing. So thank you again, and I hope you guys enjoyed Sarah and Ray, and thanks for tuning in. Until next time, this is the Ray Grand Show. I'm definitely going to leave you guys a number for question, comments, and make sure to give your feedback. Thank you so much.
Take care, bye.
Thanks for listening. If you like something that you heard, please leave a review. Oh, one more thing.
If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it at all.
Love y'all.